Welcome to Make Something with me, David Picciuto, and today we're going to make this collapsible bookcase. How cool is that? Let's make this. Today's video is sponsored by Rousseau Hardware. I'd like to take a moment to talk about today's video sponsor, and that is Rousseau Hardware. All the hinges that I'm using in today's project comes from Rousseau. They are precision machined to aerospace tolerant. These are not the type of hinges that you're going to get at your local hardware store. They are high quality hinges. There is no slop or play after install. It is a smooth fit, very high quality standards. Why spend hours on a project and buy cheap hardware at the end? There's no frustration or adjustment after the install. Hinges performed as expected every single time. Think about this. How long did it take to make your last cabinet or box? Why not finish it with hardware equal to your efforts? Rousseau has been making high precision hardware for over 20 years in the USA. Their entire line comes in solid brass or stainless steel at Rousseau.com. Rousseau Hardware provides high quality American-made woodworking hardware for furniture, cabinets, boxes, and more. Learn more about their hardware at Rousseau.com. All right guys, let's get back to this project and finish it up. Man, is that not one of the coolest projects we have done on this channel? That is so cool. This is a really simple project. It could easily be done in a day. I spread it out over 2 days. Very, very happy with the way it came out. I made this using the plans from Christopher Schwarz's book, Campaign Furniture. This is a really awesome book. If you're not familiar with Campaign Furniture, it's British furniture that is made to be mobile for military and travelers. It's very old style. Christopher Schwarz goes into great detail on the history of Campaign Furniture and how it evolved and where it's at today. Really, really good book. I highly suggest you check this out. Also, lots of great projects in this book as well. I like a lot of the look of Campaign Furniture because it's very simple, it's very square. Maybe not this project in particular, but I really like the squareness and the shapes of the Campaign Furniture style. Let's talk about the hinges. All the hinges come from Rousseau, like I mentioned earlier. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 hinges total. That is a lot of hinges. As long as you install all the hinges in square and that this top set and this bottom set are the same distance from the middle here, it should collapse and go back together with ease. I used the Rousseau hinges and I cut all the mortises by hand. Rousseau also makes router templates that just for these hinges, and they make router templates for their other hinges as well. But I really wanted to up my hand tool game and cut them all out by hand. It was a good learning experience. I got a lot faster at making the hinges and I got a lot better. A couple of the later ones, I got a little sloppy just because I was in a hurry. But as long as you take your time, I got excellent fits. The router plane that I use made this so much easier. This is the Lee Nielsen router plane. I believe they come in 2 sizes. I have the smaller of the 2. And so there's this little blade on the bottom here, and you use this screw to set your depth. And then you can get a nice clean bottom. This made mortising out the hinges so much easier than just using the chisel alone. So I set up a timer and timed how long it took to mortise out one hinge, and it was just under 5 minutes. The one that you're looking at now, this is the 3rd one that I've done. After I did 2, I was like, okay, I got this down. I know what I'm doing now. I think I can do it in less than 5 minutes. I would imagine a more skilled hand tools person could probably get that down to 2 minutes. But woodworking isn't about being fast, it's about having fun. It's about the enjoyment and the happiness that you get from making these pieces. So the Rousseau hinges come with brass screws, of course. And all the sets also come with 1 steel screw, and that is so you can set the screw in without breaking it, because brass is really soft and you could easily strip out the head or break the screw off. So you get them started with the steel screw and then you use the brass screw later. Yes, there is just a little bit of wobble to it, but this would easily hold a bunch of books. The weak point with this definitely is the hinges, because the hinges are used for the joinery. The top shelf and the bottom shelf are only held in by the hinges. This middle shelf could hold tons of weight. This could easily hold books. You're not gonna park a car on top of it. We'll flip it around to the back here, and this middle shelf here has this piece which kind of stabilizes everything pretty darn good. The better you cut your mortises, the less wobble that you're going to get later on. I use 3 coats of shellac on here, just the normal shellac that you would get at your local hardware store, with steel wool in between the coats, which makes it real smooth. What am I going to use this for? I'm not going to use this as a bookcase. I'm thinking about taking this to the craft shows and using this as a display, because since it collapses nice and easy, it makes it mobile, which is the purpose of this, right? So I thought I could set up my table and then use this at the craft show next year. Maybe make another one too. I'd like to thank Rousseau for sponsoring this video. I love working with those guys. This project would not be possible without them. Also, check out Lost Art Press. That is the publishing company of Christopher Schwarz. He is one of my favorite woodworkers. So Christopher Schwarz is really into the history of woodworking. He travels the world finding all the documents and trying to find out the history of the different styles of woodworking. He knows his stuff. And I always relate it to going back to my music background. Like, you cannot be in a rock band without knowing about the Rolling Stones. The Rolling Stones shaped rock and roll. If you have to know your history to know where you're going, right? And so Christopher Schwarz teaches the history of woodworking, whether it's campaign furniture or other styles of furniture. He also has a really great attitude about it too. Yes, he does hand tool stuff, but he also uses modern machines, planers and table saws. And he's not afraid to stand up to the woodworking snobs. And I just love his whole attitude on life and woodworking. So check out his company, Lost Art Press. He's a good dude. He's one of my favorite woodworkers of all time. Even if I don't do a lot of the stuff that he does, I still get a lot of inspiration from Chris. So Chris, thank you. Check out Lost Art Press. All right guys, this project was super fun. I gotta go. I'm taking my bookcase with me. Taking my coffee with me.